how nice that return to center was on just kind of those like 30, 35 mile an hour kind of winding roads. We're going to be installing our Safe-T-Plus steering control for the second time on our E450. And I've already got the bracket installed there, so the hard part's already been done. We're just going to be reinstalling it back on the coach, doing a test drive, adjusting it, and then just really noting the difference once it's adjusted properly. Very first step before I reinstall it is I want to make sure my wheels are pointed straight ahead. So to do that, I can look first. My steering wheel looks like I'm pointed a little bit to the left. Let's check the tire position. So what I like to do is actually sight down the tire. So I'm gonna get to where I'm looking at both edges. So both edges, the front edge and the back edge of that front tire, are lined up evenly. I can just barely see the bottom edge of the inner dual in the back on the left rear. If I go over to this side, I can see actually quite a bit of that right rear inner tire. So that tells me, yes, the wheels are pointed to the left of it. So I'm going to try to straighten out a little bit. It'll save some work later on test driving and adjusting this thing. All right. See how they look now. Alright, I can see not quite all of the inner rib on that left rear. Might be a little bit to the right. Let's bump it back just a hair. Alright, I think we're pretty close. Got my Safe-T-Plus. So these are 1/2 inch on the tie rod, U-bolts. Again, all this has been installed already, which is why we have the hardware all attached like that. So we'll get these off. We've put a larger jam nut on this. I like running a bigger jam nut than the smaller extra nut that comes in the kit. Make sure that the bushings are fitting inside of that bracket. Now here's a great time to talk about what not to do. I don't know how many we've seen installed like this. What is this? Well, it's not your tie rod, it's your sway bar. You can install that Safe-T-Plus and hook it up there, and you're going to have a pretty easy time adjusting it. But it's not going to do a whole lot for you because you need it to attach to your tie rod there. So we're going to make sure we're attaching properly to the tie rod. Just get all of this on there loosely first. Alright, let's get this tightened down. Just a little bit of compression there. Don't want it completely bulging over the edge of the hat bushings. That looks pretty good. Yep, we're not totally splaying that bushing out. Now, we're going to run our jam nut down. Alright, so that's good and tight. It's not going to back off. We got good compression on the bushings. So let's get these down. Make sure you're getting them tightened down evenly. Alright, you don't want to overdo these either. Only about 20 foot-pounds on those. That is a self-locking nut, so it's not going to want to back off. Alright, there you have it. So that's the way that's going to ride. You can see this is all very normal. This is the way these Fords work. All of this linkage has a lot of slack in it where it can pivot around, and that's just kind of nature of the beast. But what's interesting is doing this actually is changing the toe ever so slightly. Actually, yeah, watch that bracket. See how that bracket flexes there? That's because this is actually moving sideways, and the centering force of that Safe-T-Plus is wanting to hold it centered. So we've got it installed in a pretty neutral, relaxed position there. But that just goes to show just how much flex you have in these twin I-beam front suspensions and how that toe can change. So, all right, well, let's take it for a test drive, get it adjusted properly, and see how we like the difference. All right, back today for the next step in our E450 test series. Today I'm wearing my coveralls because I just installed a Safe-T-Plus on this coach, and now I'm going to be taking it out to test drive, so that'll include adjusting it. We'll show some of that process of getting it set properly. Now I will note, this is the second time that I'll have driven this with a Safe-T-Plus installed, but the first time we had some alignment issues that we didn't fully realize until getting it back, and you can learn more about that in the previous video. Safe-T-Plus can overcome some alignment issues, but it's really not best. You really want to start with your alignment in a pretty good place, and we just weren't there before. Now I feel like our alignment is in a very good place, and so I'm really excited to feel just how much more this adds to it. So here we go. Same route I've been going here. Oh, turn sharp. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, it's right there. That return to center is pretty awesome now. Between all the caster and now the Safe-T-Plus helping it out the rest of the way. Right there. There's very little movement past that point. You know, it brings it back almost all the way back to center. That is nice. We were good before. Like, I would say we had it up to 7, maybe a 7.5 before with the added caster and the really good alignment, but now we're pushing a 9, I would say, on returnability. That's really good. Yeah, it comes right back. Just a little bit of dead spot on center. We might be favoring the left a little bit. I've tried to eyeball it, get it pretty close, but I'm sure I'm going to have to adjust it a bit. Alright, this will be a good test here. This corner before, I've had to help it back on center a bit. See if it does it on its own. Almost all the way back, just a little bit back. That was really good. Where you see how I did on my adjustment. I am thinking we may be going left just a touch, but it's hard to really tell. Yeah, I think so. No, it's close. flashers, brake, e-brake, engine oil. Hey Meta, start filming. Alright, we're in a safe spot on the road, or off the road, but edge of the road. We're barely favoring the left. Now, on this one, since our tie rod is in front of the axle, in order to correct for a left-hand drift, we're gonna actually move this to the left of the coach, which would be, since I'm facing opposite, it'd be to the right. That's important to note. Depends on the type of front end you have. On like an F53 or a Freightliner, where you've got your tie rod behind the front axle, you move it opposite the direction of the pole. In this case, you move it in the direction of the pole, being in front of the axle. So we're just going to loosen these up a little bit. We're not going to take them all the way loose. And probably could have done a better job of giving myself a new reference point, but I can still kind of gauge off of that. So we're going to go just like a 1/16 of an inch. Very slight. May have only been a 30-second, but it is so darn close. You can always make another adjustment. I kind of like to feel it a little more out on the road before I do too much more. All right. Repeat the same process. Alright. See how we like that. I gave it a little bit of a bigger bump that time. Yeah, right there. How much it came back on center. You really notice that Safe-T-Plus helping like lower speeds too. That's one thing I really noticed driving up. Actually took this thing through Mount Rainier National Park, and just how nice that return to center was on just kind of those like 30-35 mile an hour kind of winding roads.
How's it driving the motorhome on these narrow roads?
Oh, it's not too bad really. I will say for the windy roads, like even at low speed, I really like the Safe-T-Plus. Just you don't have to work as much to bring the wheel back on center.
Nice.
Just that. Bending it. Yeah, now we're going right there. Gradually drifting over to the right here, over the road some people, if they like a really light steering feel, they may not like the Safe-T-Plus as much. Now on an E450, I don't think that's objectionable. Mainly we've heard some feedback on that, say on like an F53, some of the larger, like maybe like a Freightliner or a Monaco, but I like the added feel. Surface changes pitch, that still tends to want to steer the wheels one way or the other. I don't know that you're ever totally going to get rid of that. We've got as much caster as we possibly can on this thing, and the Safe-T-Plus steering control. You still feel that, but I definitely like just anything really to help it give a more positive center point. Makes for more relaxed driving. Yep, it's curving to the right a little bit there, but we got our adjustment good. It's tracking nice, straight, true. Let's see if I can navigate through here. Alright, well, we're back. Definitely confirms that the Safe-T-Plus is still worth it after you get a good alignment. I noticed a definite improvement there in return to center from an already good point of returnability. Just nice weight in the turns. You really feel it wanting to center the wheel back up. Gives a nice feel in the steering. And I do appreciate the peace of mind too. Just knowing it would, should I ever have a blowout, which I sure hope I don't. These tires are brand new now. But yeah, if I ever did have a front tire blowout, the Safe-T-Plus would help provide some control there as well. And if you'd like to see some video of that happening, there's actually some pretty cool footage Safe-T-Plus has from I think the 80s or the 90s. They actually ran these things on a race course, not E450s, but some buses, some trucks, and put an explosive charge next to the front tire to blow out the front tire, and it really dramatically shows how well you can maintain control. So I would definitely encourage anybody who's interested in learning more about the Safe-T-Plus or just wants some good entertainment to check that out. And so, yep, until next time, I want to wish you all safer and happier driving. Thank you.
Talking steering, suspension, the tools of the trade. Shout out to Super Steer Parts, upgrades made. From quiet campfires to the stars up above. Every road is a story, every turn is a love. Finding hidden gems and the paths off the grid. Life on the